So I'm bringing you guys in about half, well, maybe let's say a third of the way through this project, but that's okay because you have seen me forge weld Damascus or pattern welded billets before. And if you haven't, there's plenty of videos here on the channel of just that. So what that means is we can get down to the nitty-gritty of actually forging a blade. Let me just get to it here. I've got a couple of twist billets. One is left-handed, one is right-handed. This is 1075 and 15N20. And then I have this, which is 52-100. And so this is gonna make a couple pretty decent sized blades here. Very first thing we need to do is grind off two sides of each of these twist billets and one side of this so we can forge weld it all together and make a stack, and the blade's going to be forged out of that. So we've got our billets stacked up here, 52-100, Damascus, 52-100. So now we're going to seal up each of these three seams all the way around with an arc weld bead. right, the profile's looking pretty good. We'll use a highly scientifical method here to determine where to drill the holes for the handle bolts. All right, we took a lot of weight off of this blade. It was, well, what is it now? It's over a 1/4 inch thick back here, 275 thousandths, and of course it's gonna have a distal taper. And I took a lot of material off, a little more than I wanted to. I did want to rough grind it because there's just so much mass here to quench. That's just not super helpful. And then I had to come back and get out a little wow out of there that I wasn't paying quite close enough attention to. So our edge now is going to be 45, 50 thousandths to quench. A little thinner than I would really prefer, but totally fine. And the ultimately finished edge is going to be probably 10 or 15 thousandths back off of that anyway, to make sure that we're not dealing with any decarb steel on the edge. But that's looking really good. And by the way, if it looks bent, it's just my camera lens, so don't bother commenting on that. And let's get this thing hardened. All right, time for a little hand sanding. Woo! All right, I've got the edge put on here and buffed to a really sharp, razor sharp edge here. As you can see, well, even if you can't, there you go. Taking hair off quite nicely. Hold on, my camera looks crooked here. So I'm gonna chop on this dry magnolia branch here. And I think it's significantly harder than your average pine or fir 2x4. So this should be a really good test for the durability and edge retention of this knife. That is some very hard wood. Huh. So, you can see where the edge was used primarily. We'll see if it takes hair off. It really doesn't take hair off, and I am not surprised. Okay, it's still got an edge there. Hold on a second. Let me clean the edge. Try it again. Yeah, it doesn't really want to take hair off. But it still feels sharp under the thumbnail. I'm honestly not surprised. Like, there's no chipping or rolling at all. But if that had been our 2x4, I have no doubt that it would still be shaving hair just fine. Hold on a second. I spoke too soon. It'll still take hair off. Okay. Yeah, that's insane. But the edge looks good. So let's continue. Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. All right, the handle scales are epoxied and bolted on. Everything's cured up so we can clean this all up, shape it, and we are almost done. And it's raining outside, so yay. This knife turned out pretty cool. I'm gonna show you pictures of the whole thing in just a second. Thanks for coming along on this build. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on the next video.